All right, hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, welcoming you back to a limited run Star Trek Adventures. Those of you that are catching this in the archive, and well, the handful of you that watched it, might remember that there was a bit of a scheduling kerfuffle the last time this happened to show up, and things got weird. Well, we are back with an actual planned edition of this. Still because of schedule shortcomings, but we had this in mind. For those that are fans of the Broken Sword series and are worried about that, rest assured we will be coming back with those live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 28th of June. So, last Wednesday of the month, if you want to join us live, you can check us out at twitch.tv/. GM in the Great Barrier, and we'll be happy to have you join us. Uh, but yeah, unfortunately, we're having to stall that just a little bit. In the meantime, we still have Aegis running on a regular schedule, so you can join us live for that if you want for Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Uh, all of that said, let's just get into some acknowledgments, and then we will get to a recap and start off the session. So first and foremost, I feel like it is a good practice here to acknowledge some of the rather interesting things that came from the or rather that I'd acknowledged earlier in the month. In particular, what I had in mind was referencing some of the shoutouts that we had. The first one would be something that one of our players is actually involved in who couldn't make it in tonight. Um, Specifically, our character, or rather the player Rev, who plays Dr. Kresick in the regular Broken Sword game. He is a member of a modding community, the Empire at War expanded team, and they did work on a mod for that game called Fall of the Republic. So, for those of you that enjoy that, or, well, for those that are unfamiliar, Empire at War itself is a real time strategy game set in that era, or in the Star Wars universe. If you want to give that a look here, then on I believe it is when is that exactly? The 18th of June, so this coming weekend, they are actually holding their 17th anniversary and they are releasing an updated version. Uh, Obviously, the YouTube link will be in the YouTube link will be in the panels for or rather in the description of the video for this one. So feel free to check that out for those in chat. Just check them out there. Also, just a couple of shout outs as per usual. We have, of course, our own Mr. Azek Korg in the main game, in the Broken Sword campaign, Joe, who will be playing obviously a different character. How's Star Trek Resurgence treating you, Joe?
It's been good so far. I didn't realize it was a 10-hour story, but so far it's been good. Some graphic glitches that happen from time to time. Of course, you saw that a little bit when you were watching the few weeks back. But overall, it's a really good game, and I highly recommend it.
Very good, very good. Yep. And then the final thing I would have to recommend would be, rather as a reminder for all of you that are tabletop, whether you are just into tabletop games as a surface level affair, or if you're more of an aficionado, check out your local game store or go online at freerpgday.com because June 24th is Free RPG Day, and there are going to be game stores across the country and over different regions that will be participating one way or another. So I would definitely suggest checking that out. Link is in the chat for the live stream, and of course in the description of the video. So, hope you guys all enjoy that. With all of that out of the way, and with no further ado, let's remind ourselves. Let's let the record scratch as all of you are screaming in terror and freeze frame. It's like, yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how we got here. Well, for the answer to that, our crew was, rather, the small bit of crew that we had to start with, was getting their day going on, or back in space dock on the shittiest detail that was sort of possible. The USS Ambassador, a ship that as of stardate 13068.45 was still an experimental vessel, um, and preparing for trial runs. It was undergoing final construction at this stage, or getting a lot of bugs out of its main computer system. Those isolinear chips being a little finicky as this is a technological test bed here. Uh, on this particular shift, there were only a handful of crew that were really, for the most part, not even suited to the task. The one person that might have been said of was Lieutenant Junior Grade Mannix Nodah, who, if memory serves, Shawnee was an engineer or someone a little more engineering oriented.
No, security officer.
Oh, so he was not an engineering person in the slightest. He was just, I guess, put here to guard, to supervise. Uh, it was Thelis Rav that did more of that sort of work.
I
Granted,
mean, he's good with all of the computer systems and stuff for security purposes, but that's about it.
yes, yes. And then also Dennis Mockman, who is decent with computers, also fairly capable with xenobiology and medicine, things of the like, but just a very slight, sort of shy figure. The one person in Starfleet that wears glasses. If you go off that
It's a fashion statement.
Yeah. So, if memory serves, the three of you were working on the ambassador, and I believe Thelesrov executed some percussive maintenance, which seemed to trigger all the lights and engines and disengage the moorings, got you out of space dock. You were all very, very confused up until an audio message came over the line, and it turns out somebody by the name of Vice Admiral Jakir, an Andorian admiral, and a very old officer, whom none of you really know particularly well. So I think you all failed your history checks. Um, he's basically he gave his monologue to say, continuation of the peace with the Klingon Empire is kind of an anathema, and as you see it, there isn't much more choice than to. Basically, he wants to start a war. You've got an insane admiral on board the ship, and he has automated most of the functions. He has locked down the critical systems, so it's not just a simple matter of getting to engineering and cutting out the engines or something like that. This is going to mean a confrontation on the bridge. After
Starfleet has a problem with admirals.
Yeah, it's really starting to show at this point. After some debate, I believe that there was a consensus around trying to get to the engine, or not the engine room, but trying to get to like the main weapons locker. The backup ones that are all over the ship seem to be empty right now. The rest of them don't get installed until Tuesday. Uh, So the rest of you are figuring maybe there's some hope in the main locker. Turns out that's locked. But you might have a way to get around some of this. Um, in particular, it occurred to Phyllis that the systems are, or the main computer, because of how janky some of the secondary systems are, might be susceptible to breaches through some of the less secured systems, like the newfangled holodecks that have been installed, and the literally like going through part of the recreational deck, all sorts of things of that nature. So you made the first attempt to get through to one of those places and decided to go for the holodeck. Along the way, an Andorian woman in an outfit that above board would more resemble early season one TNG. So like the very tight-fitting skin suit, but that is, or it's past the monster maroons that all of you would be in. Um, Seems to have popped out of nowhere, and she seems very confused, but was willing to help you stop this because she knows that the ambassador is heading towards a former foe and was about to engage. Um, so after that encounter in the corridor, uh, after that encounter in the corridor, you manage to make your way to the uh, up to the main or to one of the holo suites and triggered a very culturally insensitive rendition of the Gorn. Very specifically, the encounter on the Metron's contest planet, which for our purposes, let's just call it Vasquez planet, because the joke is that it's Vasquez rock. Um, and sure enough, you are now fighting a kaiju-sized Gorn, or at least that Hollow program, who's just been all cartoonishly evil. And I think in the last moments that we'd left behind, the party was trying to run away, and it had thrown a boulder in Thelis's direction. So here's how we are going to resolve the sequence here. As we rejoin play. The boulder flies out towards the scientist. Mannix, you look and see that he seems to be like just frozen in fear and not at all like ready to move out of this. You yourself are like not. I believe last time you might have like stubbed one of your legs or something like that. I don't think you'd taken direct damage encountering this. Uh, this.
I had I had twisted one of my ankles.
Yes, that's the one.
Yep, because I tripped in a wide open hallway over one of the other PCs and twisted my ankle.
Yes, yes. So in this particular situation, you had uh, you'd basically hoped to avoid or you were hoping to get everyone away, but Theles was not fast enough, and as the boulder soars towards him, he throws out a hand, and something interesting happens as he moves to like bat at this flying rock. It actually bounces off his hand. Uh, but it slightly goes askance to where it's more of a graze, and it only deflects the course. It then tilts up and catches him right in the nose, and then bounces right off as he just stumbles back a little bit. Uh, the boulders like rolling and like floating around in the air. The other Andorian, the woman I believe Ikeo, she runs to try and close the distance back with Phyllis in order to help him, and she just calls out, "Phyllis!" And then the boulder bounces off of her head and manages to land right on her antennae, which she clutches and just stumbles about. It's just, oh, damn it, damn it, damn it. And as the two of them both stumble in the same direction, there is a disconcerting sudden. The best way to describe it would be uh, practically a flash of some sort, and they stumble. Those two stumble forward, or those two stumble through what seemed to be like some sort of, uh, you don't know, just twisting in the air or something that causes them to phase out. And in their place, two other figures emerge. So, Dennis, Mannix, you can now see that your Andorians are gone. There now appears to be one Vulcan and one, well, some sort of humanoid. One deeply unkempt and potentially filthy humanoid.
Excuse you. I am the
Narrow it
epitome
down.
of cleanliness. I don't know who you think you're talking to.
Yeah. Let's take it off from their perspectives here. So I'm going to start out. Ray, um, the setting no longer seems to conform to the corridor of the ambassador, not as you recognize it. You instead find yourselves in in extremely warm air, very dry, arid. The sun's beating down, but you do get the sense of shade and the sound of something crunching. Oh, and that's a very large Gorn there.
Verse turns around and looks up. Wow! This is one bitch of an unsatisfactory situation here. What are we doing here? He looks over to his compadre, who I have no idea who they are.
Well, they might not be. You might not recognize them either. So as Verse turns and looks over to the other individual, Takara, tell us a little bit about. Give us a little bit about his reaction as he finds himself no longer in a Jeffries tube, but now on all fours in what appears to be a desert planet.
Well, it's what you see before you is the way I pictured it in my head is Spock with a nice porn stash.
Those are mutually exclusive terms.
He stands up,
nice and porn stash.
He stands up and dusts himself off and pulls out a little comb and makes sure to straighten his mustache. Logic would just dictate that we are not in Kansas anymore, as my Earther friends would say.
Verse puts his face on his fists like, you don't say. You really don't say.
Who the hell are you?
A voice calls out to you, and you see what appears to be an Edosian, a three-armed, three-legged creature with, I think, like a fairly deep orange, like flesh color. Same uniform style as you, though. And then there is a very nervous-looking human. Actually, Mannix and Dennis, give us your descriptions. Let's go in that order. So, John, if you want to clarify anything with Mannix.
No, you pretty much described him. He's he's an Indosian. He's the third arm in the middle of his chest, 3 legs. Can't wear shoes because they don't make shoes for those kinds of toes. We're wearing the what was it that you called them for the red uniforms?
The Monster Maroons of
The Monster Maroons. Yeah, that's what we're wearing.
the Wrath of
Um,
Khan and or the Wrath of Khan style uniforms are from the
Yep.
original
Do we
series.
still have the undershirt? Is the undershirt still appropriate at this juncture?
I'll let you wear undershirts.
Okay. So, oh god, what color did security wear?
Who knows? Who cares?
Excuse me?
This is the GM decrees this to be a lore light stream. I say this having invented come up with all sorts of bizarre things for this.
True.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, and he's there. You know, obviously, the flap across the chest is way different because he's got an arm in the middle of his chest. But yeah, and he's standing there, you know, in the middle of this desert, staring at you.
And Caligo, give us a little bit about Dennis.
Dennis is truly the most pathetic looking Starfleet officer you've ever seen. Hands on knees, as it looks like he's been forced to put about 4 years of exercise in the one day. 4 years for him. So, he's sweating buckets.
Yes, the collar. Sorry, I just looked it up. It's dark green. That's security. Yeah.
Oh, puke color. All right.
No. Puke is the light green that medical wears. No, this is a dark.
Oh,
it even
okay.
specifies Windsor green.
Windsor green. Okay.
Windsor green.
Verse turns to the voice in questions. Same can be said to you. What the hell are you doing there, Hansy? What's your little friend looking like he's about to vomit? It's just a Gorn.
That is the very largest Gorn, and the holodeck has gone nuts. And where did you come from? You weren't there 2.5 seconds ago.
Where did the others go?
And where did where did the two Andorians go?
I'm afraid I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
And by the way, Mr. GM, what is the freaking gigantic holodeck Gorn doing?
The freaking gigantic Gorn, who stands maybe 2 or 3 stories tall, which, for our purposes, Ray is Verse's version of the Gorn. Are they just tall dinosaur people, or because this Gorn is like 2 or 3 stories tall? As opposed to like the 8 feet you're used to dealing with. This is kaiju Gorn.
Verse is very much aware that this is a very large Gorn. He just doesn't care that much.
Very good.
He knows he's in a holodeck, and he thinks nothing can hurt him.
Yeah. Very well. The Gorn the Gorn kaiju just looks at us. I will destroy you. And just waves its arms in the air, possibly for some sort of terrifying effect. But it looks more like it's throwing its arms up in a dance move of some sort, but very slowly
and comically, probably.
Jenkins notes that it looks very much like a inflatable flailing arm tube man, and is wholly unimpressed. Turns back to the other two. Well. Are you going to turn off the damn holodeck? And can we leave? Getting bored.
Admiral locked us in.
Well, that is a little bit different. Can I roll to see if Jenkins can find the control panel?
I'll allow you an insight and engineering roll.
Let me find my boy.
Yes.
My boy's character sheet won't open.
Oh no, let's make sure that you still you should have edit privileges. I don't know why you wouldn't have them. Try one more time.
I am going to refresh Roll20 because I'm having an issue.
Very good idea.
Option. Okay, it was Firefox. Firefox was blocking me.
Copy that.
And now it's taking a bit of time. Sorry, I know this is very slow.
That's okay. If you like, I can
How tall
conduct
did you say the Gorn was?
2 or 3
About-
stories tall, I think.
And I'm assuming I do not have my phaser.
No. Unfortunately, during the phase of the mission that you were in, the phaser slipped out of your hand, or rather, when you were moving down the Jeffries tubes, you were finally going to be able to bypass the locks on the weapons locker, but unfortunately, you seem to have crawled into an encounter where a phaser would have been very helpful.
Fair enough.
You were so far along. And if you would like, I can always roll for Jenkins if it needs the assist.
I am good. I just got it to work. So
Very good.
let's see if that did anything.
All right. So let's see. That is 3 successes. So you can guess that a little ways behind this kaiju Gorn here. Let me also say you earned a point of momentum. Who would like to be momentum officer?
I'll hold it.
All right. So the what is it? It
How much
occur.
momentum am I holding?
You
Oh, there it is.
you received 1 point. Yes. It occurs to you that if this absolutely pathetic specimen of an ensign is right, then the arch probably won't manifest right away. However, you know that one of the considerations from one of the officers in your own team before they disappeared was the idea of trying to go through the hollow suites and access a basically access an override system in order to compromise a security exploit in the ambassador's holodeck system, and how that might override the channel. That you could guess based on your very particular types of sense here. Would be probably on the other end of this Gorn, somewhere in Vasquez Rock, as we are just lampshading.
Hmm.
Can you please rephrase that as in the other side of this Gorn and not the
No.
other end
Let
of
let
this
the Gorn
Gorn?
eat me. It'll be a quick shortcut. It'll very fast.
Uh, it is behind the Gorn in the mountain that you see.
The big angular pointy mountain.
Yes.
You nerd. He points to Dennis.
Why?
Distract the Gorn. I got to get behind it.
What are you planning on doing now? Would you
I'm
please
not
explain
aware.
this to me?
Well, you're welcome to do it, but you look a little bit too short to the ground.
He's not
And
short. No, he's
How tall is he?
over 2 meters high.
Oh, fine. Jenkins says this stupidly, but sincerely. Like, he's just like, you're not good enough. No matter what I say, you're not gonna work. 2 meters high, really?
More
Jesus.
than, yes, they are very tall people.
This is you jealous because you're not tall in the other campaign?
I myself am 2 meters tall. Thank you very much.
No way,
6'5". Thank you very much.
Sean.
What?
Anyways, nothing.
I can fix that.
No. Yes, we can with the cunning use of hammers. All right. Anyways. He points to the 2, and what's the guy's next? What is your name, sir? Takara?
Yes, it's Ensign Takara.
All right.
Are you
Ensign,
not from the same vessel?
he points to Takara and then he points to himself. Clearly, some of us are from better vessels. Get it together.
Well, seeing as our vessel is currently being commandeered by a crazy Starfleet admiral, which seems to be becoming a very obvious and dangerous trope in our upper echelons. This is a pretty crappy ship. Yes.
The lack of
Ugh.
logic in this situation dictates it must be a human that is commandeered the ship.
No,
Andorian.
he is Andorian.
Even worse.
Well, my ship's being commandeered by a Vulcan. What's your excuse now? Come on.
Are you
Wait.
sure?
We will have this conversation after we get out of the holodeck. What are you
Then
planning?
do as you're told. Distract the Gorn.
The Gorn begins
what-
to take another step towards the general group.
What is this person's rank?
Sorry, Jenkins points at the Gorn. Stop where you are. I'm not talking to you. You two, go.
What is Jenkins' rank?
Actually, so one question here. Jenkins, would you, for the sake of flavor, would you be coming from a ship with the like the Wrath of Khan style uniform? So that's like the red ones with like the kind of naval jacket type setup, or would you want would you prefer a different look from your verse?
Different look. He's legit just wearing a V-neck. Like what? No shirt underneath. It's parted jacket. You know, shirtless. I need this man to ooze sex appeal in the worst way possible.
Would you like it to be like the green command like the basically the you know the green wrap that TOS Kirk wears?
The wraparound uniform.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
V-neck.
You get that with a slightly
Yeah.
deeper V-neck, basically.
There
And
you
what-
go.
and what-
down
and
to the trail.
Okay.
Wow. And
Oh,
what,
Jesus.
if you're going with TOS, what color?
Well, he's wearing a red one.
Okay, you're a red shirt. Great.
Yep.
And
And,
I'm
you would-
assuming the ranking stripes on the wrist would be correct.
Yep. You would recognize them.
Dashed stripe or single stripe?
I'm just going to say you recognize that it is a chief.
Oh, not even a commissioned officer. Not even. Aha, says Lieutenant J.G. Maddox.
Yes, the one who's currently hiding in a corner. Yeah, you're really nailing it there, buddy.
You know what? I will have you know that I do remember making an extra super fantastic roll the last time we played this, and I managed to save everybody here. Well, the other us and the two people who disappeared when you two
It's
showed
getting closer.
Yes, it does grow impatient.
up. What are you planning? What do you think you're planning to do, Chief?
To
Petty
get on the
Officer?
other side of it to mess with the arch to get us out of here. What are you planning to do?
Where is the arch? We cannot see
Behind
it.
the Gorn.
How
I
do you know?
will eat you, Starfleet.
Fee, fi, fo, fum. Whatever.
Okay.
Mr.
You know, he's
GM,
kind of slower than
Mr.
I thought
GM.
he'd be.
Mr.
Yeah,
GM,
he's pretty slow.
that boulder that was thrown that bounced around. Did it bounce around like a rubber ball?
It did. It seemed.
I'm beginning to think the safety protocols are still engaged.
Well, then what? Oh my god. Roll to just have Jenkins walk around the Gorn.
Well, you may certainly you can give that a go. Let's call this a fitness and security. I think I'm going to set the difficulty on this to 4, however.
No, you can't have the
Don't you me. Don't you me. I don't want to be
That is
Damn
one
it.
success. That is not enough. As you seem to be walking around, where this Gorn is not programmed for a lot of speed. Like a car-sized foot or something half the size of a shuttle pod comes down like directly in your path, and it just lords over you. I will make your death painful.
Do Gorn talk like that? That seems wrong. I think a pillow could make my death painful, Giant Gorn. I'm just gonna keep on trucking. This is not the day for this.
It's going to swing a giant hand down towards you. This is now a contested daring plus security roll.
All right.
Can I assist by pushing them out of the way?
Do not touch me.
Wait. I thought you wanted to be touched with being all dressed like that.
Oh,
Oh
get your
no!
mind out of the gutter.
No,
Sure.
no, bad. No.
You're getting smacked. Oh, what do you mean you got 4? Why do you have 4?
I have 4, and I want you to know I'm taking 2 threat because I beat you by 2 there. I'm taking 2 more because Sean. No.
I shouldn't suffer because Sean opened his mouth. That is not. I mean, granted, that's our whole thing, but I shouldn't have to suffer in this particular game.
I will.
Funny.
I will give the ruling that this attack is only a shove as opposed to a strike, so you won't actually take damage from this, but if there are any effects, then you do get knocked prone.
Oh, okay.
There are 2 effects there, so it sweeps and scoops back and catches you right under your legs and it winds up tossing you back several meters, sending you rolling into the dust. There's probably a shirt tear along one of the sleeves from this. These uniforms don't stand up to shit on planets.
My blouse. That was very rude. Oh. Let's see.
Yeah. The
Are
turn.
you guys not gonna do anything?
Yeah. The turn order is back to you guys now. So if one of you wants to try and do something, otherwise, well, let's see.
Aside from pointing and saying, "James Kirk, what are you doing here?" To try to distract him, I think I want to throw a rock at him.
Okay. This will be a control plus security roll. Difficulty 2.
Nothing of my thing will work, so we'll just run it with 2.
Oh.
Okay, well, that is not enough to succeed. That is also a critical failure on the board. So tell me, Joe, first, would you prefer to accept that narrative complication, ignore it, and grant the GM 2 threat? Or would you prefer well, actually, you have no momentum to buy that off, so you are left with one of 2 options.
I would be glad to accept your benevolence when it comes to the narrative complication.
Is what?
Malevolence.
We have a benevolence. We have a benevolent GM.
We very much do.
Okay. The moment that you throw the rock and you shout out about Jim Kirk, it looks around. Jim Kirk? Jim Kirk! I will destroy Jim Kirk! And it looks around and then fixes its eyes on Dennis. I will destroy the human Jim Dunkirk!
Uh,
It's going to start lumbering towards you, using this turn to try and close the distance between the group where you are. I think that a more proper placement would probably put you guys hereabouts more like. So he's heading towards Mannix and Dennis.
Oh shit.
Also, Ray, I'm whispering one thing to you in roll 20 here. Um,
Okay. Uh,
but who would like to go next?
Jenkins. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You can volunteer to go next if no one else has anything. Or I think
I'm volunteering Mannix because I think he's funny, and
I
also
was gonna
Dennis.
volunteer myself anyway. Thank you. Nice to see that I'm not the only one trying to get killed. So, yep, I'm gonna try to get past Mr. Gornygorn. I want to. How far can I go? I want to get to like here. Can I go there?
You may do so, but because of that sprain, I'm going to rule that you are taking this task at an increased difficulty. This is fitness plus security with a difficulty of 4.
Wait, does that mean I need 4 successes, or that means I fail on a 17 up?
That means that you have a what is it? You have a difficult. Well, you need to clear 4 successes, but now that you think about it, I see that the only appropriate way for me to use the threat you gave me earlier is to raise. Well, let's see. I guess natural complication range does come into play from that injury, so that'd raise it to 1. Then the 3 threat I've just put on the table, that'll set the complication range up to 17.
Excuse me? Oh, never mind. I got you.
Yep. So just to clarify for the audience, base complication range would have been a 20, but he has sustained an injury to his leg, which makes it. I'm ruling in this scene imposes increased complication as well. So that'd be 19 to 20. Then I just spent 3 threat on top of that to buy an expanded complication range, setting it all the way from 17 to 20 for a critical failure.
It's just simply punishment for having a good sense of humor. Fitness and security, you said?
Yes.
Okie dokie.
That is 2 successes and a natural 20, so you do not succeed. And I must ask, Mannix, how would you like that? Would you prefer to accept the complication as a narrative issue, or would you prefer to give the GM 2 points of threat and ignore the complication?
I'll take the narrative because you don't need any more threat.
Fair enough. I think that as Mannix stumbles about, that is just going to be the Gorn is very easily going to be able to scoop at you basically with a effectively we'll treat this as a target of opportunity sort of moment. So let's see what that does here. This is going to be a daring and security roll as it attempts to grapple you.
Well, more like grab.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I'm... let's see. I think I'm going to put a point of threat into that grab as well. So, let's see.
All I can hope for at this point is that you roll all 20s. Oh, nope, never mind.
That is 4 successes there. I think that would be enough. You do still technically get to contest here, Mannix.
What with? Sorry.
Daring plus security.
Oh, that might be helpful. Am I still at the same complication range?
I will say that I think as part of the complication here, I am going to keep the range where it is just for this task, since
Okay. Well, my focus of melee combat kick in.
yes.
Yay.
You score 3 successes, which means I only beat you by 1 point. However, I still beat you by the 1 and earn back a point of threat with that. And you are grasped by the tight grip of this this scaled up lizard man. The
I'm really
you
hoping he doesn't pull a Hulk and just whack, 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 whack.
Well, he doesn't seem to be. Thankfully, he didn't grab you by one of your legs and like flick you around. Instead, he's gone for like the full embrace, which you are getting the uncomfortable, grating sensation of like feeling the scaly claws just pressing into you and or, like rather being crushed in the hand and fingers. It is not so much that like you can't breathe, but he has you in a tight grip as he raises you off the ground and just waves you in the air.
Like you just don't care.
Yeah, this might have been enjoyable, except for once again the very tight grasp of it all, and inexplicably the warmth of the warmth of the claws. Like it's uncomfortable with the heat as it is, and like being sort of concentrated here. So,
Oh no, my
Mannix,
home world is very warm.
yeah, Mannix is now up in the air and is grappled.
As he's waving me back and forth. It sucks.
Yep. The Gorn captain will hold you up to his mouth. Give me Jim Kirk.
Somebody give me
Jenkins,
a
I
giant Tic
assume
Tac.
it.
This guy's
Oh,
breath
good
is
lord.
horrible.
What are Tic Tacs?
A breath mint.
Dennis, where's your phaser?
Locked up with the rest of them.
Verse looks up into the sky. GM, I'm gonna need a phaser. Preferably a phaser 1 pistol, please. For 3 threat.
Oh no, you didn't.
Oh no.
Granted. Comes the eerie voice that has haunted you and your crew since the start of your adventures. And you
Blessings upon you, GM.
Oh no.
You,
What the hell?
you have you go to the holster on your side and find what was not there before, the small Type 1 phaser that you now have in your inventory.
Okay, can I shoot this giant monster now?
You may. That is control
suddenly
plus
turned
security
into
and difficulty 2.
Alright. Let's see. I don't know what you just said, Menix, but you said something.
I said you sounded like Betty all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah. I do that.
All right, that is
Really? Really? Really?
You fire wide at the trying to hit the arm when it's on a lower bit of the bend, with as he's waving around Mannix, hoping that you can minimize the waving. The phaser beam misses the Gorn's wrist and instead it flies directly past Mannix's ear, the air around you getting uncomfortably hot and not at all helping with the what would best be described as a half-digested fish head smell that wafts from the or wafts from the Gorn's throat whenever he brings you in close, Mannix.
Computer, hold the Gorn still. I'm trying to aim a shot here.
I think I just threw up.
All right.
It's what you deserve.
Yeah, they call that one the Wrangler.
The Gorn's attention is drawn back to you. As a minor action, the Gorn will drop Mannix.
Oh.
Give me 3 challenge dice, please. You will fall for that and take that amount of stress damage.
You're gonna make me roll my own damage?
Yes. I'm going to make you roll your
This is
damage
what
and
you get.
watch.
You monster.
You're gonna enjoy it
You
too.
fall to the ground for 3 points of threat.
Threat
3
or
points
threat?
of stress,
What?
rather. Sorry, I'm used to getting so much threat right now. Let's see, and you're a little off to the side there as don't want to stretch you out. Let's see, as the Gorn continues to close on Dennis. Jim Kirk.
Oh no.
Yep. Anything you want to try in the moment, Dennis?
The final solution. Throwing a
Wait,
big rock.
no, never use that phrase. Don't use that phrase.
Did a big fucking rock.
Didn't we just throw a big rock at this guy?
Yeah, but they missed.
No, he threw a rock at us.
You guys know where a cannon is. Verse doesn't know anything about the goddamn. Go find the cannon. One of you.
Yeah, run away to find the cannon. What do I need to do to roll to run away and find the cannon, Cap? GM. Run away, then find the cannon.
I'll tell you what. I will if you can beat a difficulty. Let's call this thinking here. If you can beat a difficulty 3 science and insight roll, then that will allow you to notice all the cannon components there.
Okay. I have a decent chance at this.
Mm-hmm. If you can do that, I'll even let you allow the thought of discovery take you and allow you to run over and start getting things together. Let's see where this goes.
All right. Let's see if I have any focuses that apply, like physics.
Foci.
Foci.
The GM will not call you out one way or the other.
I don't believe Foci right. You can't make people do that.
It says focuses on the sheet, so that's where it counts.
Exactly.
Okay. But physics could work. Any sort of I think geological or chemistry, any of those sort of sciences will work.
Sounds good enough to me.
Yep.
Time to gamble. Yes!
You score 3 successes and then 1 on top of that, meaning that you earn a point of momentum. I'll let you draw there, Mannix. And you notice, rather conveniently arranged, is actually what appears to be a pile of gunpowder, a cannonball, and a old 17th century cannon. Theless was really not good at programming this, or he took far too many liberties.
I see. I see.
And thankfully, aside from the basic scientific understanding of how primitive gunpowder works, you happen to be aware. I'm going to rule that on a lark you took an Earth history course, despite it not really like it was a very small elective, and you happen to know that you have a rough idea of how these cannons actually work. So you can run over to the flintlock and fire at will, or fire as you bear.
Look, if they couldn't program just the proper stuff for what Kirk did, I'm fairly certain that they half-assed the cannon itself.
Yep. Well,
Just not to shove it all in.
bear in mind, this was the scenario, but reprogrammed a bit by Theless.
Yes.
So you make it over to like with a will and a burst of energy that you've not previously shown, and something that in your mind might have put the academy to shame in terms of their run. Really, it was fine. You make it over to the cannon, just escaping the large Gorn's grasp. I will kill Jim Kirk, and with that, the turn resets here. So, uh, who would like to do something first?
Oh, we all the way to the beginning again?
Yep.
Okay.
Technically, everybody's acted at this point.
How? Okay, so I took the 3 points of stress. Any other incidental damage aside from, of course, having the wind knocked out of me by a giant lizard?
Nope.
And who is the lizard is currently dealing with Dennis, right?
Yep, coming after Dennis.
Am I behind the Gorn?
You're roughly to its side.
All right, then I'm going to try to... Yes?
By the time you are behind it, it will probably have eaten Dennis.
Then I am going to try to scoot around behind the Gorn.
All right.
And I will attempt, as John Cleese has said, I will attempt not being seen.
Very good, very good. That will be a, let's call this a fitness and security roll. I think that you are still, since you're still somewhat trying to get around the Gorn, I think that the task remains at a high difficulty, but the complication range goes down to 19 and 20 instead. Or so a complication range of 2, and that's again just because I'm going to say that for the rest of this scene, the injury has been somewhat aggravated by the circumstances.
Oh, I would say so, yes.
Yep. But the difficulty remains 4, unfortunately, to get around.
Oh, Lord. All right, well, have that. So I'll take 3 dice. That's just 3 times, 3 more times I can foul up.
Yeah. Well, you make the 4 successes, which allows you to get under a shady portion of the rock, and you are confident enough that you could not be swept or scooped from the roll at this point. Like if the Gorn were to attempt an attack on you, and it puts you essentially out of reach. So we'll use.
Right. Well, my goal was to get wherever around here is to where Mr. Fancy Shirt said the arch was.
Okay. So I'll put you over here then, and that will be your
Okay.
action for the turn.
Is that a little ninja icon to say that I'm hiding?
Yes.
That's-
Okay. Um, the Gorn is going to use its turn to close the distance with you, Dennis. I will eat Jim Kirk and then Earth.
And Maddox is thinking to himself, go ahead, eat Jim Kirk. Apparently everybody else did.
Uh,
Oh
oh,
my.
oh my. Ugh. Anyway,
Mountain chicken bow wow.
no,
We are not. We
No.
are not.
no. But at this point, I may not draw a threat every time, but every statement gets seen by chat, and that's one more opportunity for them to spend quatlus to affect the roles of the different players, increasing the difficulty, generating complications or advantages, or
Yeah.
even dispensing threat or momentum. Oh, and look who just chose Grant Momentum. That is our very own Overland gamer who is in this game. We all
But not right now.
no. Joe is right here. We
Oh.
all know what that means.
Oh no.
That is 2 points of threat right there, my friend.
Damn it, Joe.
Yay! I helped.
All right.
Somebody's going to get punched in the ding ding.
Someone's gonna get a punch in the head.
Well,
Okay.
since it's always
Well,
reversed
we
if we
have-
do it in game, I'm taking away your hydration.
We have a nice giant Gorn there. I mean, perfect target.
Who would like to do something this turn?
I guess me, because everyone keeps making terrible decisions. Is he still? Is he almost upon Dennis?
Yes, Dennis, who is now appears to be by a flintlock cannon for some reason,
A flintlock cannon?
like an
Wait,
old smoothbore like Age of Sail thing. Thiles rather really doesn't know his shit when it comes to this, or I don't know what he was trying to punch up.
Verse squares his shoulders, and he says, "Very large Gorn. I, James Kirk, am here. Perhaps you should follow me." And he saunters like a little bit backwards.
Interesting. This one, I will allow you to make a presence and command roll in order to persuade the Gorn that you are in fact James Kirk.
Presence
they
and
added all the commas.
and I'm using a seduction focus because why not?
That definitely
Ooh.
applies. You're channeling your very best. The face that might have launched a war, and certainly the intonation, and that is 4 successes. Let's see. Let me just pull up the captain here. Okay. Jim Kirk, I will eat you, and it just starts lumbering away from Dennis and towards Jenkins.
Finally.
Jenkins is a Gorn
Now,
star.
Your
oh,
death
that
will
one-
not be merciful, and I will subject you to puns.
my favorite. Oh God. Well, now that I'm here, I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay. Can y'all maybe shoot the guy while he's not looking directly at you? Is that a possibility? I can only be so sexy over here. And I kind of don't want to die.
I'm working on it. I've seen these in a book once.
Oh, God. I've seen waffles. That don't mean I can cook.
I have heard that waffles are pancakes with abs. I don't know why I said that.
You should be shot. You should be shot. I hope your ankle hurts.
Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so
What do I? I want to get away from this giant horn.
I'm allowing you for free that you are just keeping the distance from them right now, but it is going to
Okay.
be. This isn't going to last necessarily.
Oh, poor Janky. Okay.
Yeah. That being said, since you have attracted the Gord's attention and it is opting to move towards you instead for its action, Takara or Dennis may take an action still.
I would like to take an action,
Okay,
if
well,
that's okay.
Yeah. As long as it's not to, generate more threat.
I will state very loudly, computer, produce a replication or a how do I want to say this? Produce a Captain Kirk from NCC 1701D or A. We want the retrofit Captain Kirk, not the original. And make him about the size of our Gorn friend over there. Security code 00070.
Your command echoes into the air listlessly, or rather, just empty with no response from the computer. It takes a few moments, but it occurs to you that either logically, the fact that you may be of a different reality from this one means that you are actually you don't have the codes necessary to activate this. It does not recognize you. Indeed, you may not exist in this reality. The other alternative is that the holodeck system here is more antiquated than the one you are used to, and therefore doesn't respond. In any case, the command does nothing. The GM could not put together a Kirk that quickly.
Okay. Well, I tried.
Would have been cool if you did.
Did you though? Because I feel like I tried earlier to command the computer.
Are you? I look over at Mannix. Are you sure we're still on a holodeck?
Yes.
Logic would dictate that if it was able to pull, if whatever it was that pulled us here, it might have pulled you elsewhere as well.
You shut up and do something useful.
Oh, poor Takara. Okay.
Well, I guess summoning the console won't work.
Arch.
Yeah.
By the way, did the arch just happen to show up when I said arch? Mr. GM?
Oh. The arch did in fact show up, but it was actually opposite your position, much closer to where Takara is right now. It occurs to you that what Thelest was referring to before he got sent to the alternate reality was that it is not the arch that is over here, but rather basically an access system that he could have used in order to try to exploit some of these security protocol issues.
Wonderful.
So I guess if it's
if I head over to where the wall is, I'm never gonna find it because of the way the system works.
Unless and until conditions are satisfied on that.
Okay, whose turn is it now?
Dennis, how long does it take to build a cannon?
I don't know. I need to get my first turn to start.
Dennis, would you like to do something with the cannon?
Yeah, I like to just start getting this cannon ready.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to say that as everyone has been doing their thing, as a minor action, we can say that this whole time you have been preparing the cannon to fire. Apportioning out the correct amount of gunpowder, inserting the shot, and then tamping down the ammunition and preparing to detonate it. Or to fire that off. So if you would like to take that action, then you are actually all clear to fire the cannon.
All right, what do I need to roll to fire this thing?
Let's see. Generally, I would be inclined to say control plus security, but because I'm feeling exceptionally benevolent on this issue, I'm going to call it a control plus science roll.
All right,
This
a
is
little
just
better.
This is one big chemistry experiment. Although, if you prefer daring, then we could go that way instead.
No.
You aren't entirely sure whether this thing will go up or not.
I'll take the control. I'll take the physics foci.
All right.
Simple geometry.
Fair enough. So, you may adopt that focus, and you may make the roll accordingly.
Y'all want me to use that point of momentum to make sure we get the corn?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It is still a difficulty 2 roll, I believe, if memory serves.
All right.
And
Thank God.
yep, that was it didn't update for me there. All right, that is 2 successes. Dennis, you light the fuse and have it aimed in the proper direction. You move back to cover your ears and think for a moment. Wait, why is nothing going on? You peek back. A burst of cannon fire sends the sends the object reeling back with like a burst of smoke coming around. Your air is the air in front of you takes on a very acrid quality as you inhale a little bit of it and cough slightly from the thing. The cannonball lunges out and strikes the Gorn dead center of mass. Would you like to roll cannon damage?
All right. What do I need to roll for that?
Oh, well, roll your cannon.
My cannon.
Look at your
Yes.
character sheet. You probably added it
Oh,
when you weren't
oh
looking.
my God, he did. Holy shit! All right.
Curse you, Jim Kirk! As it falls back.
Oh my God, that's a lot of dice.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
if you
There's so many dice.
if you looked in the Discord, sir, I fixed it for you, but I'm a little too late, Mr. GM.
Well, I'll have to take a look at that in a moment here. But yes, the Gorn falls back, and a triumphant voice comes over. And that's how Jim Kirk saved the day on Cestus 3, which is a final point of Thelis being wrong because this incident did not happen on Cestus 3. That was the colony that the Gorn attacked and that Kirk chased them from.
Mm-hmm.
At least so far as Mannix and Dennis might have known if they cared too much about it, but let's see here. Oh, there's the Kirk.
Like I said, a little too late. Sorry.
Yep. Anyway. So yes, with that, Gorn goes belly up, and it gets the skull and crossbones. The Gorn is dead. You are now out of
Verse
combat.
walks over to it, kicks it. Whew. Well, that was ridiculous. Can we go now?
I hope.
Assuming we can open the arch. This admiral is attempting to kill us.
Then Dennis just sort of walks out with his like soot-covered face and all his hair messed up from using the cannon.
That is a definite
Verse
improvement.
pats him on the head.
Eh.
Good work.
Hey.
As your hand comes away from his head and it's covered in the black powder of the like residual from the cannon shot.
Oh, soot. I wipe it on his shirt.
You're just gonna get more sooty.
Oh, the back of his shirt then. Like, clap the back of him. Very good work. And just, you feel him wiping his hand aggressively on your back.
Ah.
Verse walks over to Mannix. All right. Took you long enough to get here.
You don't even know where here is.
I know it took you long enough to get there.
Right, the simulation's ending.
Now, it has the environment. Get over to the arch and push the buttons to turn this thing off.
The before you can make it there, the environment dissolves around you to the otherwise black room that goes up at least one more deck, and
Yellow stripes everywhere.
Yeah, the yellow orange stripes. Yeah. Now,
Okay.
it occurs to you, at least anyone that was paying attention from last time, that on basically an opposite wall, which we will say that you don't need to move a token around, it's just something you can declare you walk over. There's supposed to be a panel that Theles could dislodge and basically gain some computer access that way, or try to subvert some of the security protocols.
So get over to the panel.
Okay.
I can maybe do something about the security protocols as a security officer, in theory.
All right. Mannix, you limp over to the panel and your center arm pulls away a few, it like tries to find a few loose panels, and I will say that you identify one that conforms roughly to a junction that you suspect would be correct.
So we're on deck what, 4 you said?
I believe so, yes.
Is there a secondary armory? I mean, a ship this big, there's going to be more than one armory.
Let me double check that.
Or at least someplace, a centralized location where I could maybe find a gun.
Well, so the short version of that would be that any of those types of locations would be there would definitely be those if the ship were fully stocked. Unfortunately, it does not yet have the full crew layouts, as it were.
Tuesday.
Yep. Let's see. All right. So, actually, it looks like you were on deck 3 for this. That's
Oh,
where
okay.
the hollow suites are listed as being. Um, Going on down from there. Sorry, just checking against this here. Uh, do, 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 do.
I'm assuming we can't take the cannon with us because it dissolved with everything else, right?
Indeed.
Why
It,
would you want to take the cannon? That is such a giant, ridiculous thing.
I think it's gone now.
Yeah, it
Okay.
disappeared.
The main armory is 2 decks down, um, on deck 5.
Yes, but that entire deck was just irradiated.
Uh, True. However, you think that you might be able to. I will tell you what, you can gain one of 2 advantages. You could either A, gain access to locking mechanisms such that you would be able to access the doors there, or you can gain limited environmental controls, which would allow you to purge the radiation. It is not enough that you could disrupt life support or other similar functions in key areas, but it would ensure that the ship remains passable.
Let's do that. Let's try to, I guess we're chillating the radiation so we can get there eventually and do something about it. I mean, it's going to take us a while to get it to Klingon space from Earth. We have some time.
What logic is taking it to Klingon space?
He wishes to start a war. Apparently, he didn't think we did well in the last one. He thinks peace is pointless. He's insane. It seems to be a problem that Starfleet is having with its admirals lately.
He's more war hungry than a Klingon.
Klingons at least have a reason to go to war. Yeah, this guy is just nuts. He just wants a war. So, we're going to clean out the radiation 2 decks down so we can go there and get into the armory, because the armory is where all the guns are. And then we'll take the bridge. In theory.
Worst comes to worst, we
You
can also
don't
try
sound
to...
terribly confident.
Well, the way things have been going, people disappearing and appearing all out of nowhere, it seems very strange, and I'm assuming we are having some sort of temporal spatial anomaly happening across multiple timelines. But I'm not an engineer or a science specialist. I am just a security officer who happens to read all of the official log entries that are published. So I know this crazy stuff happens.
Wait, why are we letting the security officer do engineering stuff?
Because what I am attempting to do is dealing with security. And I'm an officer.
Oh.
Chief.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody else have a better idea? I didn't think so. So I start fiddling around inside the thing there.
Mm-hmm.
What am I rolling, sir?
I will actually, just as virtue of the challenge, I will allow you to bypass any need for a roll here, and you unlock the advantage of you may countermand any localized environmental interference. So any attempts at force fields or other environmental releases, you can override that, and basically you have something keyed into a tricorder that will, or it's just a lock on the protocols that will prevent you from.
I have the remote control now for those particular things.
Yeah, you have the thermostat on your tricorder now. You downloaded the app.
Yep, I did. So I can get us there now. I can get us in there now, but I don't know about getting into the room. That's going to be a second thing to do. But we can go on that deck now. So let's go down to the. We go down a couple of decks, and we go and we can try to get into the armory now and get some guns. Does that sound like a good idea? Sounds like a grand idea. Let's go.
All right.
Is everybody going?
Of course, we're all going.
Okay.
It's your ship. What pips do you have on your collar for
Lieutenant JG?
You outrank me, so.
While we are at this, I will tell you what, just so that you have the opportunity to get back some momentum, if anyone wants to take a stab at looking at the computer layout issue with the ship as it is right now, then I can give you maybe something a little more helpful in terms of guidance here, and to give you guys momentum. So I'd call this difficulty 0, and it's either going to be insight and security or insight and engineering.
We all get to roll this?
Everyone will get to roll. I will assign momentum based on the highest roll.
Okie dokie.
Okay, that is 4 from Verse Jenkins, 3 from Mannix, no joy from Takara there with 1 success. Dennis, you want to try your hand or just leave it to the others on this one?
Dennis?
Yes.
Yeah.
It says,
Come on,
Tie.
Dennis.
I think that's the best you can do is tie.
who doesn't love a nice insight security?
Fair enough, fair enough. Oh dear.
Disregard Dennis. Don't even look at Dennis.
Dennis, would you prefer a so let's see. Technically there is 3 momentum incoming thanks to Jenkins' roll there. Would you like to spend 2 of that to buy off that natural 20 you just rolled? Would you prefer to ignore the complication at the cost of 2 points of threat, or would you prefer to accept a narrative complication?
Narrative would be funny.
Narrative is always
Yes.
Yes.
Don't encourage it.
funny. All right. So the 4 of you start crowding around as Mannix and accessing the environmental system and tying it in with your tricorder. You take notice of you start taking more notice of the computer layout issues and realize that while the localized environmental disruptions are going to, or rather preventing those localized environmental disruptions will be extremely helpful, you have a better sense now that, actually I think this is Jenkins that would pick it up first, because as he's looking it over, he's starting to piece this together, but your implants are also interacting with this system now, Jenkins, so you are getting a better sense, and the layout suggests to you that this version of the Ambassador, much like your own, appears to be running with the primary systems mostly intact, but the secondary systems remain exceptionally buggy, and the similar strategy that your team had postulated of trying to basically go through those less secure secondary systems and create exploits that would eventually allow you to not simply bypass the environmental hazards, but also to gain access to critical sections, particularly around the bridge. and weapons lockers, and that would inhibit any sort of localized transporter function, which was the big concern with your crew here, um, or rather with your version of the crew. Let's see. Okay, the basically, it looks like you are going to need to hit at least two more systems in order to dislodge that. You recall that aside from the holodeck option, that there were at least a few. There were some of the labs that were vulnerable, that were set up, and there was also like some of the recreational decks basically had actually some non-secured sections of computer access. Out of those two options, which one do you think would have been more likely for your pursuit?
Oh. The second one would be more likely.
Yeah, you recalled that you were heading out. You were heading towards that section and the segment that, in at least your reality, seemed to be behind a game of a zero G sport. Let's say something roughly akin to an Ender's Game scenario, um, but that it was you were waylaid by the admiral's adjutant, Captain Savick, and that was when you got separated from your crew.
So we won't go the recreation route, I guess, just in case he's there.
She.
Sorry, what? I did not hear you.
Well, Savick, I suppose, might have been a dude in that reality, or in your reality.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Sorry, you cut out, and so I just got that. Okay, sorry. Jenkins points to possible routes. I'm so sorry. I'm really kind of brain dead.
You're good. Basically, what all of you are putting together is that basically you could hit the labs, or you could let's see, you could hit like one of the lab areas, or you could go into the rec facilities and try to access the computers in one of those zones.
Jenkins looks at Mannix and is like, the recreation room didn't work for me. I don't know about y'all. Have you tried the labs yet?
We hadn't gotten there yet. We got here, and then one of my crew
and
disappeared.
Then you got stuck with
one
the
of my
giant
crew,
horn.
Yeah, and one of my crew and somebody from another universe showed up, and then they disappeared, and then you showed up. So we're just trying to figure this out.
Yeah. I would like to go back to my home ship. It was much easier there.
Possibly. Did you also have a crazy admiral trying to steal your ship to begin a war?
Oh, yeah, Spock. He was a real piece of work at that point. Just not over some things.
Spock?
Yeah, Spock. We all know who Spock is.
Vulcan guy, pointy ears?
Vulcan.
Yeah.
Spock is a Romulan. What are you talking about?
Oh, your universes sound like so much fun.
So they are. No. Except when they're not, and you're careening towards war again. But what changes? All right. Well.
So what attempts had you made? You said
I didn't get especially far. I was kind of Jenkins does not quite look you in the eye. I was a little bit more encouraging than I should have been to Spock. He was going through it. I was just trying to be helpful.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean, but that is quite all right.
Ah.
Your own apparent embarrassment is sufficient for me. What had you attempted to do? You said your recreation deck had unsecured panels.
Yeah,
I
we had
believe ours does
attempted
as
to.
well.
Yes, we could try and regain and control the ship that way.
Well, right now I am trying to get us into the armory, and I think beep, 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 I think I have just finished all of the connections I need. So we should be able to have control of the deck of the environmental systems on deck 4. Getting into the door, however,
Just
will
one
be
question.
interesting.
All right,
Yes.
one question now. Do you always make panel noises with your mouth? Is that normal for you guys?
That wasn't supposed to be him. That was him beeping the little buttons on the tricorder. Dang
No.
It's funnier. It's funnier that way.
Sure.
it.
It's funnier if you're doing it with.
Hey, people in Star Wars keep going pew 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 whenever they shoot the guns. So give me a break.
All right. Short stack. Whatever you say.
Short what? Short stack? As he looks down at you.
Teeny
What?
tiny. Come on, Tiny Tim, let's go.
That is not my name. So yeah, start heading. I guess we're gonna have to go down the Jeffries tube because again.
Yep. Dennis, you are the last person to get a look over at one of the wall panels. I'm going to let you pick a particular system or part of the ship that you are looking at. What would you like to look at?
Clearly life support because, that was what he was fucking with before. The captain.
Great idea. Great idea. Um, you're looking that over and checking the levels just to make sure everything's fine when all of you feel a sudden jolt. Like the ship rocks in a significant way. Where the deck feels like it almost comes out from under you before shifting back up abruptly, so you all kind of stumble a bit to regain your balance. Um,
Right.
yep. Yeah.
Is that the feel of a ship in combat?
No, that is the feel of such that you would discern it from any of you would discern it from the deck plates. Jenkins, this might honestly be the biggest thing for you. This is the feel of acceleration.
But we shouldn't feel that.
Generally not. Um, but let's see. Uh, Jenkins, I'm going to give you that with the access you have, and perhaps even this could be something if you want a chance to redeem yourself, Dennis. You could have access to a passive sensor array.
Oh, I see. That could be helpful. Truly, yes.
Yes, yes.
Sensors.
Okay, that would be reason and science.
In this town is computer expertise.
And is that momentum still floating around, or do we actually have?
Oh yes, you do get. You may draw 3 points of momentum.
All right. Does this whole system count for my computer focus?
Uh, yes. So your computer expertise does apply in all of the.
Perfect.
Okay.
Ooh.
So let me take one look here. Okay, that's 3 successes. Um, you see now that the as you get a look, you try to get some sense of your bearings. As you had guessed, with just the sparsest bit of navigational knowledge, the ambassador has been moving along what's referred to as the Archer Highway. It is a subspace current of sorts that one of many that ships travel along in order to give their warp drive just a very slight boost, essentially, something that's more efficient, that allows maximum speeds to be reached easier, and allows quicker travel to some distances. In in this particular case, this is a route that proceeds all the way from Earth, um, along a string of colony worlds and other home worlds. I think that it like passes through the Rigel colonies. Um, it passes through several Federation systems up to what was the Federation world of Arcanus, now currently held by. Um, Actually, I think that was given back to the Federation at this point. Um, but it is the route that would eventually allow you to make it to Kronos, and certainly long before that, the Klingon border. What you are noticing is that from your relative position and at the cruising speed you'd guess the Ambassador were at, you appear to be 2 days ahead of where you should be. Your time is very. Your time seems to have. Well, it seems as though the ambassador somehow has made it ahead quite a ways, and you realize that the stars are passing much faster than even the maximum warp of these engines should allow. Um, there's also unusual subspace readings that you are picking up, exotic bits of energy that you're getting a readout from, and it all eventually dissipates and returns you back to a more normal warp factor. But near as you can guess, you just hit some sort of space-time anomaly that has allowed the ambassador to clear a considerable segment of space.
This is not surprising, considering all of the strange people who are here right now.
True. It appears that whatever anomaly we hit just shaved 2 days off the travel time to Klingon space.
Well, this just got much more interesting. Let's go. We have to get to the guns so we can get up to the bridge and take the ship.
Aye, aye, sir.
Oh, don't call me that.
All right. So the four of you start making your way. Are you electing to hit the? Where are you electing to go next?
Turbo lift?
We're not doing the turbo lift. The turbo lifts are still in lockdown, and environmental controls don't do anything about that. No, we're headed to the nearest Jeffries tube to go down the next 2 decks. That's easier than going up. At least that's where I'm going. Where the rest of these crazy people are going, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyone have anything else in mind beyond going down to a? Yes, the idea was to go down to the armory on deck 5 and try to get in.
Yep, that's my plan.
I kind of want to go mess with the engine.
That might also work.
Splitting up might not be bad. Multiple angles of attack.
He did. Captain did sort of try to gas us the last time we tried to go through an armory.
Yes, but I now have control over the environmental systems on that deck.
Yes.
So I think I should be able to stop that from happening. That is
Good.
why I'm going there.
All right.
That's where I'm going.
So, all right. So, Mannix reaffirms he is going to. He's trying to go down to deck 5 and hit the armory. I guess Dennis, were you planning on heading with him, or did you have other ideas?
See, my logic for going with Mannix is he's the only member of the crew that has not mysteriously vanished.
Or
You know
appeared.
what? That's fair.
Hmm. Let's see. So, Jenkins, you were considering the engine room, or do you want to stick with Mannix?
No, Jenkins, I don't think likes Mannix. We're gonna
That's
go
perfect.
on
That's
to the
perfectly
engine.
acceptable. Maddox is trying to learn how to deal with people who are not his own. So he's a bit of a take.
Fair enough. Takara, what are you thinking of doing?
Following orders with Mannix. Got to follow leadership.
Gotcha. Sticking to that particular logic there. All right, so
Always remember that the difference between ass kissing and brown nosing is depth perception.
bleh. Uh,
Sir.
to double check verse, that's the engine room you're looking at.
Yeah, I'm heading towards the engine room.
Copy that. All right, so you exit the holodeck and make your way back out into the corridor. Now spared your holographic travails. However, we are right on the verge of splitting the party now, so I need to ask. I suppose in this case it's going to be a roll off between two of our characters. So that'll be um, Ray, definitely one roll from you, and then another roll from, I suppose, I guess Mannix would make the most sense. And this would be just a single d20. I'm sorry, I ought to have said earlier. Okay, so you've managed to roll a two. You've managed to roll two d20s from a task roll and a challenge die between the two of you. Neither of which is what we are going for. Still, still not. Okay, there we go. That's that's better. Let me get you onto the corridor. Yeah, it's just the narrative initiative here. I think you're looking for roll 1d20 with the backslash. Okay, so you want to try your hand at that? All right. Oh wait, and the less is outside, looking like he's about to say something, and then disappears.
Ah!
Disappears.
Vanished.
Yep. Continuity error.
If only it was ever that simple.
Yes. Okay. So with that, it looks like in terms of the narrative initiative, we did get there eventually. We have a 9 from the main group and a 13 from Jenkins. So Mannix, Dennis, and Takara will go ahead and crawl on down to deck 5, and they will.
Downhill is always so much easier.
To say this as your leg gets caught again in a ladder in an uncomfortable way. It's the same ankle.
Yep. Are we going south? I always feel like I'm going downhill when I go south. Okay, so yeah, we go downstairs. 2 decks.
Yep. So climbing down, you make your way to deck 5. There is an armory, supposedly in one of the forward sections. Let's see here, just checking. Yep, a restricted area over on deck 5. Um, and yeah, you make your way over to the door. You happen to know, Mannix, this generally requires a high access clearance in order to operate on normal operations, and those protocols are tight right now as this was like personnel are obviously restricted during the maintenance cycle, but uh,
Yes. However, as the ranking security officer on board, I should theoretically have access.
mm,
Theoretically.
all right.
I'm
Well,
the only security officer on board. So I should have access. If the Admiral has revoked all said access, again, I'm going to have to deactivate the door, open the emergency panel, and hit the little pumpity pumpity to open up the door.
all right. So you walk up to the door. Mothman and Takara in tow. Is there anything either of you two are thinking about in the midst of the situation?
Memory is going back to a creature called Q from our galaxy. That these kind of antics are common with it. But trying to figure out like what other signs of the whole multiverse issues that we need to be aware of and observant for.
Hmm. Well, any observations or puzzling over you want to share whilst in character? Or amongst the other players?
Lieutenant JG, I don't know how to address Mannix. Do you have an entity by the name of Q in this universe?
Is that not a letter of the standard alphabet?
That logic would dictate that that would be a no then.
That could also simply be a good guess on your part.
Is there any way that I can help with help more with this Admiral situation? What do we know about him? Does he have any weaknesses? Does he have any? Obviously, he has a desire for war, and warmongers often show very tell signs of weakness in the mind when it comes to persuasion.
I know very little of this Admiral. I know he is Andorian. I know he has taken command of this ship. As to how much you can help, I have no idea what your skill set is. What kind of uniform is your character wearing?
The classic maroon.
Okay. And what division?
Security.
Oh, good. Another security officer. Okay. How closely is the technology here mirroring your own?
Mr. GM?
I think that this ambassador is pretty close to your own, although if you have other small bits of fluff, then you may do as you will with that.
Aside from our ambassador had a skin condition that you weren't supposed to talk about, but it was there. Most Andorians in our world are of a blue nature, but his was more of a purple.
No. When he's talking about the ambassador, he's talking about the class of ship.
Oh, I thought the ambassador was the Andorian.
No, the Andorian is an admiral. The ambassador is the ship.
Sorry.
We are on the prototype USS Ambassador.
Sorry.
It's like,
Okay.
what are you talking about? I thought this was an emissary class vessel.
I'm sorry. Words are hard across galaxies, apparently. I don't think so. Our ship was more of a science geared ship.
This ship hasn't even had its maiden voyage yet.
Well, that at least we shared some similarities.
It is a prototype for a whole new class of vessel. Hasn't even taken a shakedown cruise.
Well, we shook ours down, but that was just because some young ensign accidentally piloted a shuttle into the warp nacelle and delayed launch. But we won't need to talk about that.
What, is this guy an ensign?
I am an ensign.
Was that you?
Look, a command decision needed to be made, and I made it.
You made it poorly. Understood. Anyway, as long as the technology is close enough to your own, I'm fairly certain your access codes will not work. But as long as you can help me break through systems, it might be helpful.
Sounds good.
And I show him the tricorder, and I show him how I've got everything wired up through the tricorder for at least this deck. And I go over how everything is done.
Yeah.
It's annoying. Everything is done in groups of 3.
Could I do a control engineering, perhaps, to kind of do just a general reading on it to maybe see if there might be weapons on this deck that we might be able to use?
It would be more of a reason and science if you're executing a scan of some sort.
Gotcha. No, that's not bad.
Yep, you do indeed pick up signs of a. You do indeed pick up signs that the armory does appear to be stockpiled with weapons, although it appears to have a very intricate force fielding, locking system, and otherwise is fortified against any sort of breach here as you're rapidly approaching. Before that gets, go ahead.
I was wondering if that force field does it go through the walls or does it stop at the walls?
I would think that it's over any sort of point of entry in this
Gotcha.
in that reality, or rather
Got
in this room. So,
okay.
You did seem to have the advantage in the other reality where it was the force field coverage was only partial, thanks to an advantage you had previously achieved, and you were going to get through the Jeffries tubes, but well, then you crawled through the portal and found yourself here. Security's a little tighter in this reality. Before we get to the armory there, Dennis, is there anything you wanted to do? Or anything that you had to say on the matter?
I think I'm good. I've mostly just been hearing their crazy talk.
Fair enough. All right. So, the 3 of you round the corner and see a door labeled armory. It is the sort of standard dull brownish red of the turbolift doors, demarked by the sort of whooshing doors that would open with that sound effect, with the label of Deck 5 Armory.
Does the door open when you get close?
It does. No? It does not open with a whoosh. As you
Okay.
recall, the emplacements appear to still be such that access to the access to these rooms is still restricted.
Okay. Try going in through the control panel.
Okay. Trying to input your access code.
Yep.
All right. I will allow you to attempt that, and I think in this case I'm just going to impose the narrative setback that as you enter the code with 2 threat spent from the pool, you find that your access code, which might have ordinarily sufficed, appears to have been locked out as far as the central command systems go. Under Admiral Jakir's updated protocols, or with the systems locked down as he has them, the system refuses to recognize your access codes.
Well, I have focuses in security protocols and computer intrusion methods, so I'm going to force my way through.
Okay.
Find the back door. There's got to be a back door.
Are you aiming to try and pull away a panel and work on something here? Or are you just trying to play around with the computer console door?
Between the computer console and the tricorder, I'm hoping I should be able to bash my way through electronically through the lock.
Okay. Well, this is going to be a bit of a difficult task here. I think that let's see. I am looking over my notes.
Oh, and I also have computer programming.
Certainly.
I have 3 foci that are geared towards this.
Okay. I'm going to call this a gated task here, and I think that the first thing that I'm going to rule is that you have you need to set up some sort of interface between your tricorder and the system here. For those unfamiliar that are interested in Star Trek adventures as a general principle and have stuck around at this point, there are special types of longer form tasks which can be started under different circumstances. Instead of doing something all in one go, you can perform what is referred to as a gated task, where you have a sequence of items that you need to complete in order to affect something. So I will allow you to make a roll at the minimum difficulty on this is going to be 2 for a control plus security. However, in order to make this sort of effective or fully surreptitious, I'm going to say that the difficulty on this task is going to be, to succeed to that maximum level, you're going to want to hit a 4.
All right, can I spend my determination?
What value would you be tapping for that?
I will do my duty.
You may do so. Is it going towards the auto crit?
Yep.
All right. Well, then you may certainly do that. I am going to spend, let's see. I'm going to start with 3 points of threat because I need to double check something with regard to the traits in this scene. Okay, so because of the malfunctioning computer core aboard the Ambassador, computers have a natural complication range of 2 right now. So.
Oh, and I just realized one of my talents is computer expertise.
All right.
So I also get an extra D20 on that.
Very well. Then you may attempt to roll those. I am, in addition to the increase in complication range, I am putting 3 more threat out there to boost the complication range. That'll set it up to 4 now.
Oy. All right. So the complication is at 4. How many successes do I need at this point?
Uh, with the auto crit, you
Mhm.
just need 2 successes in order to make this or 2 more successes in order to make this a surreptitious connection.
And failure automatically lets them know on the bridge that I'm hacking my way through here.
That would tip them off a bit sooner, yes.
Okay. Would it be possible to continue even if they have been alerted?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to spend a momentum. So I get 4 dice. Let's see what happens. Da-da-da! Blammo! Ow.
That is 5 successes there with a complication on the board.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take the last 2 momentum that I have there and make that go away.
Very good, very good. You believe that you have a connection established.
Okay. Did I get any momentum for that roll? I only needed 2, so do I get 3 momentum back?
You do get 3 points back. And just because of where we are, and because it is funny to do so, I lose 2 more threat.
Oh no.
Thought you could escape my notice, did you?
Dude!
I admire your pluck, whoever you are. I only wish that our commitment to duty were shared in this circumstance.
Why, you piece of shit?
Well, perhaps you can take time to think about this elsewhere. And with that, that interruption that is going to cause. Let's see. I'll make this a. Okay. With the. Let's see how the ambassador is doing on this. Probably going to be a little. Well, now it's using that system. So. Oh, that was not supposed to be that many dice. Let me fix that. And. Well, it's for whatever reason just doubling every single roll, it seems. So I'll take the one there and make it a succeed at cost. Um, the 3 of you, as you start like looking around, trying to think, like preparing to react to what he says, feel that you can no longer engage with the environment as a blue curtain of light begins to envelop your senses. The annular confinement jacketing is taking you, and
Yeah.
and you find yourselves in what
Any chance I can disrupt that with the tricorder?
unfortunately the
It happened too fast.
yeah, that and the localized environmental disruption doesn't account for transporter overrides. Um, but whereas he might have certainly intended to send you towards the brig, you find yourselves in a ship's bar. And I think that is where the 3 of us are going. Rather, that's where the 3 of you are going to stop for tonight, and where I think that the whole crew will hold off for the rest of the evening. So this is going to be where we cut out the recording. So
Well, I picked a good spot to spend my
determination,
my determination. Come back, but okay.
certainly. Anyway, I am going to take on that Jank your chain spend to hydrate, because I could use it, and I didn't notice it until only just now. Sorry about that.
Uh-huh. You're fine.
But yep, we will be back next week. We're going to take one more go on this and see what challenges we can draw out of we can draw out from this, and whether the crew can actually do what they need to in this situation. But we will drop things off for now. So for those of you in the recording, we hope you enjoy, and come back for this and for Broken Sword when it comes back on the 28th of the month. But we'll see you around.